just started out. We were about 6 months up and running and into our first startup. We worked day and night and we had more customers than we could handle. We sent out invoices each month. And after about 6 months, we had built $1 million in revenue. We thought everything was going really well. Well, at the end of month 6, we couldn't pay our bills. No salaries, no rent, nothing. So what happened? We somehow thought that when you send out an invoice, money will appear magically in your bank account. Well, that's not true. If you don't chase after payment, especially with big customers like government or big corporations, you simply won't get paid. Invoices end up at the wrong desk and in the wrong inbox, on the pile too hard, they were addressed wrong, they think up anything. So what you ought to do is bring back your payment terms from 30 days to 15 days, and at day 16 you call them, you say what's happening, you send a reminder, you hire a bill collector, doesn't matter, but you start chasing after your money. For us that really worked. We brought the debtors back from 5 to 6 months in revenue to about 6 weeks in revenue. There's an old cliché that says value isn't the same as price. With startups, value actually is the same as price. We wanted to become rich, of course, so we thought 100% margin would be really great. So we sold our product for 100K. Oops, we left a lot of money on the table. We made a mistake, and the mistake was that what it costs to make a product has nothing to do with what it's worth for your customer. This was business to business. That meant that our customers use our product as raw material to make their product. That also meant that we could calculate prices backwards. Our customers sold their product for 500K. The cost to make their product was 200K, excluding the price of our product. A regular profit margin in this industry is about 10% of revenue, or 50K. That meant in total they had 250K in cost, and we could actually ask 250K instead of 150K for our product, which, once we understood this value pricing, we of course immediately did. Okay, time for an exercise based on this tip. Like all Climate-KIC startups, you probably made a product that's better and you sell to a business-to-business market. How can you estimate the maximum price you can ask for this product? First, identify what better means. For example, your product uses half the energy of the current product of the customer. Second, estimate your customer's current cost. Say he spends 100K per year on energy. Next, estimate what your customer's cost will become with your product, excluding the price of your product. Let's say his energy bill will become 50K per year. Next, calculate the difference. 100K minus a 50K is 50K in annual savings. Then estimate the life of your product. Let's say it works for 5 years. Finally, calculate the maximum price for your product. 5 times 50K is 250K. So, 250K is your maximum or value price. It's the price at which your customer should be indifferent between his current product and your product. Use this as the starting point for your pricing decision. We completely underestimated how long it took to close a sale. Initially we thought it would take about 2 to 3 months. However, again, we were dealing with large corporations and government. So in practice, it took about 6 to 18 months to close a sale. If you know that an average salesperson cost about 80K per year, you can figure out what that did to our working capital. There's actually not a lot you can do about this. This process simply takes so long. The only thing you can do is anticipate it in your numbers and in your financing. It took us 3 months to make our product. We paid the cost to make our product, the 50K, at the end of month 1, and we received the money for which we sold the product, the 100K, at the end of month 4. So on average, we had 50K outstanding or 50K overdraft in our bank account for a 3-month period. In itself, that's okay as long as you agreed upon that with the bank, but they charge exceedingly high interest rates. Exceedingly high interest payments means less money for us. That's not good. Subsidies were not an option. So, raise equity. Actually, we forgot a really important source of financing, and that's debtors and creditors. Debtors are the people that owe you money, and creditors are the people you owe money to. When we explained our buyers that as a startup, we really wanted to make their painkiller, but couldn't pre-finance everything, they readily agreed to the following terms. Instead of paying everything, so 100% or 100K at delivery, they agreed to 50% or 50K at the time of ordering and 50% or 50K at the time of delivery. That meant that we went from negative working capital to 0 working capital in one easy phone call. Nice, huh? Additionally, we explained our suppliers that as a startup, we were really strapped for cash, but we could deliver a lot of business in the future if they were willing to extend their payment terms from 30 days to 90 days, which they did. That meant we went from 0 working capital to positive working capital. So sum total, we went from negative working capital to positive working capital with 2 phone calls, from ridiculously high interest rates to free money. I never understood demo days. So demo days are all aimed at getting an investor 3 months after you started your startup. 3 months after you start your startup is actually the worst time to raise equity because you have almost every risk imaginable still on board. The more risks you have, the more expensive the money will be that you attract. The more expensive your money will be, the more you will dilute your share of the eventual pie. What you should do is keep your burn rate or the money you spend monthly as low as possible until you've achieved product market fit, until you got those first customers. Then you really de-risk your startup, and because you de-risked it, money will be much cheaper. You will keep a larger slice of the pie and you will end up much richer. So this was my top 5 of things I wish I had known about financials when I did my first startup. I hope you learned something, and I sure am curious what your top 5 will be once you're up and running. I wish you the best of luck.